Kikaboo, and buenos dias, Revista de la Ligas. It's Monday morning, I'm in a beautiful spot, I'm about to have what's called a cheer me up. You'll see that in a minute, you've seen it before. And I'm looking at the morning papers, and Marca, the biggest selling one, loudly celebrates Barcelona's title victory in the presentation of the trophy. No, it's another bigger trophy. Mbappe getting closer to being the Pichichi, the leading scorer for La Liga. Diario AS puts that right because they lead with the celebrations in the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic. No, they go with Alcaraz winning the tennis in Rome. Now, I'm teasing them a little bit because I suppose in a modern idea, you give your readers what you think they want rather than perhaps what they should be getting. It's like a mom or a dad feeding their kids candy floss for a starter, maybe a Mars bar in the middle and then ice cream, rather than fruit and veg. You give them what they want rather than what they should be getting. Of course, the Catalan paper talks about the joy, the Barca festival, the Barca joy, nice picture of the champions on the front page. But now to business, the champions were beaten and it was a significant victory. Why? Well, one, get your diaries out. The fixtures for La Liga next season won't be released until somewhere around the middle of July. But when they are, book 2 journeys to Spain at minimum. One for Barca Villarreal and the other for Villarreal Barca. The reason being not just yesterday's smash and grab 3-2 win for the Yellow Submarine, which guaranteed that they would be going into the Champions League. That was the big bet that their billionaire in fact, father and son, the Roig family, made last summer when they splashed out on Logan Costa, Chernobari, Luis Junior, the goalkeeper, and others, including Ayoce Perez, the bargain of the season. We'll come to him in a minute. They made a big bet that with no European football this season and the proper investment last summer and a really good coach in Marcelino, they would go all the way to the Champions League, and lo and behold, or Logan and behold, they have. Excuse me for a second, that's just so good. And no, it's not a tequila sunrise. So the 3-2 win added up that in the last 8 meetings, home or away, Barca, Villarreal, Barcelona, 36 goals. Now, my arithmetic is rudimentary, it's sometimes just rude, but I make that 4.5 goals, and I know 0.5 of a goal. 4.5 goals per match in each of the last 8 matches. It's the fixture that thrills, it's the fixture that delivers. If you can't get Clasico tickets, that's the one to book. What happened? Well, of course, Lamine Yamal, who is right now, and maybe voted so when it comes to the Ballon d'Or, the greatest player in football. Another absolutely wonderful left-footed goal into the far corner. That makes 3 in 3 matches for a guy who's now got 75 goals and assists for club and country, still aged 17. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because Barcelona were hungover. They'd been on the open-top bus on Friday evening. Flick had given them permission, as Pep Guardiola used to do, to go out on the lash. It's a very Catalan phrase. I'm sorry for I've been here so long that now and again I will dip into local parlance. Going out on the lash, something that I have very little acquaintance with personally. Just let me get my tequila sunrise going again. Means that all the tension, all the team spirit, all the joy of winning the league was contained into a day and a half, Friday and Saturday, before a really tough fixture against Villarreal, which they duly lost 3-2. It was a weird game, really open. Barcelona defended as if they just didn't care. Another terrific display by Pedri. Marc-Andre ter Stegen got back in goals again. There's a chance he plays next week at San Mamés too, because Germany's Nations League campaign is just around the corner. Ter Stegen wants to be fit because nominally, injury aside, he is the number 1 keeper for the Mannschaft and he desperately needs game time. Elsewhere, it was an extraordinary day down in Seville. Seville had 2 red cards. Look, Bade for tugging back Kylian Mbappe and what the referee and VAR judged to be a clear goal scoring opportunity. I think there might be a question mark over that one. Bade sent off. No question mark at all over Isaac Romero's horrendous lunge, studs up. They call it a plancha. And planchar is to iron. So when you do flat foot like that with the studs up, you get sent off. And Tchouaméni limped away, forgave the kid who'd only just got on the pitch. Sevilla, with 9 men, defended adequately until 2/3 of the way through the match, when Mbappe scored a kicker from long distance. Again, Catalan, sorry. A kicker means a very good goal. Followed up by an interesting one, because Victor Muñoz, the ex-Barca kid, who's now playing for Real Madrid and who missed a big goal chance last week in the Clásico, subsequently had to erase all his social media accounts for the abuse he was getting from Madrid fans. Victor Muñoz came on again, crossed to the back post. Gonzalo Garcia, another Canterano for Real Madrid, headed down, and Jude Bellingham stabbed the ball home. Madrid win, and it's now, what's pending for them in the diary is a goodbye to Carlo Ancelotti next week at home, if I don't mistake, against La Real. And will it be goodbye to Luka Modric? He was utterly brilliant against Seville. Fantastic, feeding Kylian Mbappe with all kinds of passes, an array of making time stand still, vision, technical expertise. That was pretty beautiful, it has to be said. And although he turns 40 in September, Carlo Ancelotti says he stays as long as he wants. And Xabi Alonso, I could understand him relying on Modric, but will Modric believe that he's going to be given enough game time? Who knows? It's an incognito, but in the bottom half of the table, drama, because Leganés won 1-0 at Las Palmas, meaning that there are now 2 teams embroiled in the fight to avoid the last relegation spot. Valladolid and Las Palmas are down, Lega won 1-0. Next week, they face Valladolid. Espanyol, the other team, pretty unbelievably given where they were 4 or 5 weeks ago. Espanyol, the other team who might go down, they face Las Palmas at home. Winner takes all. You'd have to back Espanyol, who are 4th bottom at the moment, to do enough at Cornellà next week to stay up, but will they? Little side note, Joan Garcia, one of the best young goalkeepers in Europe, is probably going to go because he's so talented and his buyout clause is only 25 million. If Espanyol are relegated, look out, suitors, his buyout clause goes down to 12.5 million. Elsewhere, a wonder goal for Julian Alvarez when they beat Betis 4-1 at the Metropolitano. Why don't you play that most weeks? Why don't you give that style and that panache most weeks, Aleti? We'd all like you a little bit more and respect you a hell of a lot more if you could play like that every week. Betis go into their Conference League final against Chelsea in Poland in the next 10 days, knowing that they just missed out on the Champions League. Athletic are guaranteed 4th. Athletic are in the Champions League, so are Villarreal. But the race for the last European place is now a straight punch-out between Celta, Rayo and Osasuna. Depending on next week's results, when Matchday 38 will bring you more drama, one of them is going into Europe. Osasuna would be a great story. Wonderful fan base, wonderful stadium. They're kicking the coach out after 1 season, yet potentially in Europe. Celta, another fantastic story. They lost at home, having led to Rayo, a direct competitor for the European spot. Aspas didn't start. What was that all about? But Giraldez, their coach, has revitalised them. They play bravura, daring football. The stadium is 10 times better. There's a new chairman this season, Marian Mourinho. Celta are the coming club, but Rayo would be the miracle club. From a tiny barrio, they don't consider themselves from Madrid, they consider themselves from Vallecas. It's the rebel club, owned and run by a right-wing, slicked hair guy that the fans all hate, and yet here they are with a low budget and the tiny ground with one side permanently just a mural rather than fans getting in there. The most rabid and loyal and left-wing fans in the entire country, and they could end up in the Conference League if their result next weekend is big enough. Come to Spain. Watch Revista de la Liga. Join us here. It is fucking fantastic every single week. Meantime, stay tuned. I'll see you to preview the Europa League final in Bilbao, and then, because I'm at the game, an immediate review of Spurs versus Manchester United late on Wednesday night. Drama, drama, drama. Stay tuned.